Welcome to Everything Money. As always, I'm your host, Seth. I'm here with Paul and Mo. We're doing a reaction video today. There's some big players out there in the real estate game, and Paul, this is one of them. You've been wanting to get back into real estate. I think our goal is, while real estate is so hot, if we could learn and train people on your thoughts. You're such an expert in terms when it comes to buying and selling. You've looked at, how many deals has Andrew looked at, your real estate?
Oh, he looks at
thousands.
Oh yeah, easily thousands of deals, easily
every single day. And so you guys have to weed through. So someone referred me to this guy.
By the way, of all the thousands of deals we looked at, not a single one was told. Did anybody tell us it was a bad deal? Can you believe that?
You're right, Paul.
I passed on all these great deals.
Oh, you didn't buy them all?
Here's some tips. This is common mistakes in real estate.
Okay.
Here we go.
Millionaire mindset.
Take two.
Take one.
Most coughing.
What is happening?
Most coughing already because of the Newports.
Oh, because the Newports.
The secondhand smoke is already coming through, Paul.
People always ask, what is your biggest real estate mistake?
Not doing your homework.
Well, what does that mean?
You got to do your homework from the beginning to take you to the end.
Wow. That was awesome.
Here we go. We'll keep going. Keep going, Paul.
Okay. Number one, like I said, my biggest mistake was not doing my homework.
What does that mean?
I've gone to new towns and bought real estate and didn't really know that much about the town.
Maybe a little less mouth breathing into the mic.
That's
Paul.
BS, by the way.
What's that?
That's a crock.
Just listen to him.
Okay.
I mean, listen, we can't get to, real quick. We can't say, what does that mean? He hasn't even started the video. It's been 19 seconds. I mean, you got to let him.
Well, I want people to hear what
I know, but I mean, you got to let him say what it means before you say, what does that mean, you idiot? You know what I mean? All right, get after. Come on, let's go.
And all the skeletons hidden in the closets, and it's not doing your homework. If you do your homework, you know what's going to happen before it happens, So that's my biggest mistake. And, the biggest mistakes you're going to make in real estate are not inspecting the property enough to know where all the bugs
What is happening right now?
You got to watch this.
are at. The roof, the plumbing, the electrical, the foundation, besides the visual stuff. If it's a big commercial project or a small commercial project, you want to make sure that, you're not getting stuck with a lemon. Inspections is all part of your homework. Everything.
How many times have you said homework?
Homework in real estate. Do it, and then you'll know what's going to happen. Everything will just fall into place. You'll close the deal.
He could be a smidge more descriptive, I think.
So I guess when I'm asking, what does that mean? Give him time, Seth.
Work out just as your plan said it would. But you got to have a plan, and you got to do your homework.
Can you give you personal biggest mistakes?
The biggest mistake I made was I went 800 miles away to Texas and bought an entire block of apartments, 1,000 apartments on one block. And I got so
I didn't do my homework.
confident or cocky because I was buying them so cheap that it was a no-brainer. Well, it was a brainer. I didn't do my homework. I found out all kinds of things I didn't consider or realize about the property until after I bought it. And I knew there would be some things.
Have you made a big mistake like that? Early?
The biggest mistake I ever made, I did all the things he's talking about here, except for one thing.
Which was price or?
Of course.
It's not what you buy, it's what you pay.
I trusted the wrong people, and I'm not trying to blame them for it. At the end of the day, it's still on me. But when somebody said, Paul, I wouldn't lead you wrong, I'm like, yeah, they're not going to lead me wrong. They want to do business with me for the next 60 years. At the end of the day, he just overpaid. Now, you might sit there and say, well, he didn't do his homework, so therefore he didn't. Okay, maybe so. But to me, the biggest mistake he made was emotional, not an inspection thing. It's an emotional one.
But it turned out to be a laundry list, and it added up to millions. Luckily, little Ben went out there, gave up 3 years of his life, and lived there, turned the place around, got it running right, and we still were able to get out and make some money. But it could have went really bad, really bad. And never buy 1,000 apartments in one location. You know why? You compete with yourself.
By the way, that is very true, but his statement is wrong. Don't never buy 1,000 units. Just factor that in because you are competing with yourself, and you have to realize that that is a very true statement. You are competing with yourself. I used to always say we had 15 buildings in Shaker Heights, right? And I always said if I had 12, I'd have been 100% full. Yeah, because I competed with myself, and there just wasn't enough demand coming in that did that. But we were always 90, 92, 93% full. But if I had 12 buildings, we'd have been 100% full, which means we would have had higher rents.
The only game around, but you need 1,000 families to live in these buildings. Okay? That's a lot of units to fill in one location. So basically, you're constantly trying to rent, There's constantly people moving out. And it was a very, very busy situation.
Oh, busy.
Amongst other problems we had there. So I learned my lesson. What else you want to know?
How else did you get screwed in real estate?
In real estate in general?
Yes, all your career. How did you get screwed?
I mean, the biggest mistakes I made was I wasn't greedy enough. When the time was right, I knew the time was right.
He said before the biggest mistake he made was not doing his homework. Now it's the biggest mistake I made is
I should have bought more, but I played it safe sometimes and I backed away. And I knew at the time these were good deals, but I didn't want to bite off too much, and I probably should have bit off more, because if I bit off more then, I'd be sitting in bed.
Stupid.
Really? Isn't it a personal decision?
Yeah, it's a personal decision, but he's now saying because of hindsight, he actually made a good decision. Because of hindsight, he regrets it. That's stupid. Because how many times will it happen where he doesn't want to bite off more than you can chew, and all of a sudden it goes poor. It's more likely to go poorly when you bite off more than you can chew than it is to go well.
That's the term, bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, that's a stupid statement.
Today, and also I didn't realize that when I went outside my comfort zone of knowing how to run apartment buildings and started getting involved with hotels, which I have no idea or a clue how to run and never worked in one, is a major business you're taking over. It's not real estate. It's a business. And I'm at the mercy of other people now, because luckily I got good people I'm at the mercy of that help me, but if I didn't, I'd be screwed.
Well, pause. Of course, whenever people tell me like, oh, I stick to what I know, it's like, that's great. I'm glad you do, but it doesn't mean you never ever go out of your sphere of influence. Just come prepared with the right people. He's sitting there saying, he's like, well, if it was just relying on me, well, of course, but if you want to grow, you can't just rely on you.
Yeah.
Like, we create software. Do I know how to program? Tim, do you know how to program?
I wouldn't think so.
No, none of us know how to program, but we know how to manage people who program. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
My box that I'm used to being in, not having experience and getting involved with projects I didn't know how to run, not a good idea.
Have you ever overpaid?
I don't ever feel like I ever overpaid, because if I did pay close to retail, I was doing it because it would.
Does anyone actually?
No, let him finish. Let him finish.
Still have a tremendous tax savings for me, with the 1031. Because the choice is this: you either buy something, or you got to pay the tax. Well, if you pay the tax, that money's gone. You never see it again. Uncle Sam ain't giving nothing back.
And if you overpay, that money's gone. You never see it again.
Well, he did another video just yesterday about he keeps pressing this 1031. He's got to buy something.
And this is exactly why I don't like 1031s, because everybody overpays, so they don't want to pay the tax man. Overpaying is just as bad as paying the tax. Mm-hmm. You're still overpaying. That money is gone. It is gone forever. If you overpay by 1%, you have that 1%'s gone forever. Mm-hmm. People have a hard time understanding that. Has he ever overpaid? He goes, well, I never thought of it. What was his exact words?
I guess you're right. Does anyone?
Nobody ever thinks they overpay.
Maybe. Actually, that's wrong, Paul. I've bought things where I just really wanted it. I let my emotions get involved, and I just say, you know what? I want this. Magic cards, expensive cars, a house that I probably can't afford.
So did you overpay?
Yeah, I think so.
From what perspective?
Well, from your perspective or from the market's
I'm
perspective?
Sorry. I see. You're right.
That's
not from my perspective.
Here's the
not
thing.
The market. You're right.
Yeah.
I got it.
Are people overpaying? Yes. But when he says, like, when we do a deal, nobody pays more than they're willing to pay. So they don't ever think they're overpaying. He might have a reason, 1031 number. By the way, the best real estate deal I ever did, I paid over ask price. And I would have paid 30% over ask price if I needed to. And it's the best real estate deal I ever did. Now, if I paid 30% over ask, would it have been as good as it is? No, of course not, because I paid more. Would it still been a great deal? Absolutely. So when people... A man knows the price of everything. A fool knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. The original quote was, a man knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. But I like the fool one because it's very true. Don't care what the asking price is. Care what you're getting for it. When he sits there and says that, yeah, he's paid close. I don't like that reference of close to retail. Doesn't matter. What's close to value?
Yeah.
And do I think people should pay more than they want to save money on taxes? Absolutely. But sometimes people will say, well, I'm going to pay $1 million in taxes. I might as well overpay $1 million for the property. Then just pay the tax.
Yeah.
But if you're rolling into something that maybe you're not going to make a fortune on, but you're parking it for a while and you're getting a decent return.
Oh, that's a good idea. Park the money in an illiquid asset that has debt on it just to park it for a little bit of time. That's the stupidest thing I've heard.
Oh.
Then that's a way of just prolonging it until you find the right deal. So yeah, I paid close to
Oh,
retail.
so you prolong it till you find the right deal, and then how do you get that money out of that deal quick?
How do you get money that's not liquid?
Yeah,
Because
then all of a sudden you're going to sell that property very quickly to find the right deal. That's stupid.
I think it was a good way to park it instead of giving the money away. You know, and I have made one mistake. Really, the only one that sticks out in my mind as the one I recently did with the Sweet Tomatoes. But who would know the Sweet Tomatoes is going to go bankrupt? It was a great restaurant, a great location. What happened? COVID came. Ding, 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 ding. I just bought a Sweet Tomatoes for, I don't know, $3 or $4 million, and it went belly up, baby, belly up. Nobody was pulling that belly up to the salad bar no more.
So he just said his biggest mistake was because of COVID. Boy, this guy must have quite the portfolio. Why is he doing? I mean, that's the stupidest thing I've heard in my entire life. I mean, there's no way that even his said it was 1,000 units. Oh, we still made money. Oh, wow. So this guy's so incredible that like even the worst deal he did, he still made a lot of money. Okay, he still made money, a little bit of money. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Plus, it was
have a
going to
hard
be my
time
great
believing
place to go, and I wanted to eat healthy. I can go to my own tenant and eating Sweet Tomatoes when I was in Tampa. So it screwed up my diet too.
This guy's in Tampa.
But we got somebody looking to pay me back everything that I paid and maybe a little more, not much.
Look at
I
him.
couldn't leave it out to
Biggest
somebody.
mistakes, he's still making money.
He's always
But
making
right
money.
now it's pretty hard. So that was a mistake, but who the hell knew COVID was going to come and crush everything?
Who the hell knew?
Mo told us in October of 2020 the market was going to crash. in
Who knew?
February.
Who knew COVID was gonna came?
Should people have
I love this guy.
I mean, if you're going to do 5 or more units of commercial property,
Incredibly entertaining.
I mean, you know, I would use a lawyer for commercial real estate. Okay, I always have. You know, you might get away with a small deal on your own, but you start getting into the big numbers. Plus, the banks are going to require it. Well, you're going to have to pay for the
What's that?
The bank doesn't require you to have a lawyer.
bank's lawyer when they do a loan for you. You got legal fees involved. When you borrow the bank's money, they're going to have a lawyer review everything.
They have a lawyer. You don't require you to have a
you don't have
lawyer.
to have a
In
lawyer.
fact, I'm quite sure they probably want you to
They don't
sign
want
any
you to have a
document.
lawyer.
They want you to.
Worst situation
Do
is for
5
you
or
to
more
have a
units of
lawyer.
commercial property. I mean, you know, I would use a lawyer for commercial real estate. Okay, I always have. You know, you might get away with a small deal on your own, but you start getting into the big numbers. Plus, the banks are going to require it. Well, you're going to have to pay for the bank's lawyer when they do a loan for you. You got legal fees involved. When you borrow the bank's money, they're going to have a lawyer review everything. You're going to pay for that. Lawyers, bank's legal counsel. You know, it's not too much, but it's going to run 10 grand at least on the deal I do, and it's been millions. Biggest mistake in the world.
Keep going.
Don't read your contract. That's a big mistake. Okay? It's boring sometimes, and a lot of stuff is
He's
boilerplate.
literally saying like, okay, so what's the biggest mistake you made? I don't drive your car off of a cliff. Don't put a gun to your mouth and pull the trigger. Like all the advice he's giving is like, this is the biggest mistake. No, the biggest mistake is overpaying and understanding that, like looking at the numbers and realizing that biggest mistake, don't read the contract. Or you should read the contract. It's like, oh, okay, that's okay, next.
Seems sound.
But, you know, you want to make sure that you're signing up for the deal that you want. Okay, you got closing costs, who's paying the title insurance, who's paying the doc stamps, who's paying all the commissions. The contract's very important. How much time you got to inspect the property.
If not reading the contract is your biggest mistake, then real estate's super easy, and I should be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
When you got to go hard with your money, how much time you got for closing. Make sure your contract.
I think it should be titled "The Easiest Mistakes to Make." Not
The easiest mistakes to avoid in real estate. That's
Gives
what
you
this is.
the time and doesn't have you paying for things that you don't want to pay for, or at least negotiate. Everything's negotiable. So before you sign on that
All those things you
contract,
mentioned, by the way, we negotiate ahead of time. We don't go into contract without that negotiated. That doesn't mean the other side doesn't try to change it and put it in the contract, but we never even get an LOI signed without those things negotiated.
you better make sure you're ready to live up to everything you agreed to, and you're going to hold them to live up to everything they agreed to, and that's what a contract's for.
Let's say they make money, right? Instead of spending on growing and spending on cars and stuff like that. Is that a bad?
Well, they're not 1031, are they? You see, what people don't realize, not only did the 1031 help me grow and help me become the person and have the portfolio we have today.
What is that portfolio?
Because
I think it's a lot. I mean, he has the video came out yesterday. He's buying an $8 million property or something.
And by the way, in this market, I'm sure it's a great deal.
you don't touch the money, you don't piss the money away. The money's going into the next deal. Other people, you start pissing that money away, you won't have the goddamn tax money to pay. If you do make a nice chunk of money on flipping something or selling something or whatever, don't go out and start pissing away on shit because everything depreciates.
Is epic.
Wait, this is a video. I think he just said a bad word. Does YouTube give him no?
I don't think he cares.
Cars,
The monetization, I don't think he cares.
boats,
Look at him. This guy, I mean, look at this guy. He's awesome.
what the hell you're buying, okay? Sometimes, you get lucky by a house, but that's still being in real estate. That's good. And the banks want to see your money in the bank. The bank don't care if you have a brand new freaking car. The bank cares about the money that you got, that you can protect their investment.
I want
in
to
the
see what
loan.
his house and cars and boats look like because I'm quite sure that guy has a lot of them.
Oh, it's probably pretty sweet. This guy's straight out of a movie.
You can be driving around a freaking Rolls Royce. It don't matter. The bank don't want the Rolls Royce. They want that cash. They want to see that you're strong. They want to see you got money.
This is The Sopranos of real
They
life.
want the
I mean,
cash.
this is real life. I mean, he owns a bada bing.
You know, if they screw you on the contract, you go take a bat. You go visit their daughter's recital. You send a message
Bank. So if
right
things
in
don't
front of
go
everybody.
right,
You send the message. You break his
you can
kneecap.
still protect them and your own
and
investment.
you get the cash.
You got to understand how this shit works. You want to loan money to somebody that ain't got shit?
There he goes.
The
Oh my
Newports.
God, he's pulling them out.
The new Fords are
Question.
coming out.
So is his channel all real estate?
Yeah.
Okay, after this is over, I want to guess how many subscribers he has.
Okay.
Even looking, COVID came, an international planet disaster shut everything down.
International
and we
planet disaster.
Love it.
still survived. Okay, you got to have strength.
Oh, this is awesome.
Before you do any deals, okay, if you don't understand something or you need a second opinion, get help. I use
that's
all
true.
kinds of people. I have to use surveyors. I have to use phase one inspectors.
Pause. Yeah, because the bank requires you to. Like, that's what the bank requires you to do.
Yeah.
I have to use lawyers. You have to use brokers. You have to use bankers.
Well, don't ever listen to a broker. That's the first rule of real estate.
Okay, and if you're unsure about something, ask somebody that specializes in whatever your problem is or what your question is. Don't go into no deal not knowing what the hell you're doing or knowing everything about that deal. You know, the one thing they taught me in the Army.
That you're not going to know everything about every deal. That's the problem, folks. Like, your goal then is to make an assessment. Say, okay, these are the things I know about the deal. What are the things I don't know? What are the things I won't figure out? That's why you have margin of safety. That's why we think about value investing. If you only buy based on all the good things you're seeing, that's the problem. You're never going to know everything about a deal. If you say that, that's the reason I already know this guy doesn't do good real estate deals. If that's what he really believes, that you do a deal only we know everything, failure. Just like when somebody tells you, I've never failed at anything I've ever done, they've never tried or they're just lying.
The only dumb question is not asking one. Go to consult with Ben. Ask me. Maybe I'll have the answer. If it has to do with real estate, and
Anyway, Mo, before you look that up, subscriber count, Paul, your thoughts?
Oh man. Well, you tend to find the 500,000 subscriber people. So I'm gonna say, just because I think he's kind of this kind of guy, 420,000.
About 280.
Oh, I was gonna say 350.
I would
You
say
didn't let him guess.
Yeah, you didn't let me guess.
Oh, sorry,
My number
Mo.
was
350?
350.
We both.
Yeah, I mean,
lost.
it's pretty entertaining. They're more documentary style, not really sit down. He's out and looking at properties and giving it to you. But he definitely has that.
Is that his house?
There he is.
That's what it says. That's his house.
Yeah, and he bought it from Ryan Howard
There you go.
of the Philadelphia Phillies.
So
back
there's
in the day.
Ben. That's
I think
Paul's
I've heard of this
take.
guy before.
Really? Well, how so?
I think through you. I think you sent me this video before.
Oh no, I've never seen this guy before. Yesterday, someone sent it to me. So, but
I think I've
that's
seen this guy
That
before.
house is awesome.
So he talks about not spending your money on stupid things, but that's his house.
16.5 million.
okay. Don't blow it.
No, I think he's probably talking to the average person saying,
Yeah, sure,
listen.
sure.
So I should take that back because I'm sure he's speaking that way. And I have nice things. And I tell people, enjoy your nice things, but it's just funny. It's I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of crap about this video because we were being mean. The Newport. I got to do the Newport sometime.
Just right here on the show.
Right here on the show. Just light up the Newport.
Cars.
Oh, there's the Rolls
There's
Royce.
his cars.
Is that a Batmobile?
That's our
Looks like
take,
it.
guys. make sure you tickle the thumbs up and
He
lights
has a
out.
Batmobile.
If you like, we're gonna do more real
He's got a
estate,
jet.
and Paul knows a lot of it. So
He's got a
we'll keep it
Rolls
coming.
Royce and
I
jet
will
here
say,
with a cigarette in his mouth.
That guy is incredibly entertaining. Great YouTuber.
That's what I'm saying.
Great YouTuber.
YouTuber. I
Great
mean, it's just
YouTuber.
great. We gotta have him on the show, Paul.
I mean,
We're not
that
gonna
guy
have
is
him on the
awesome.
show.
Newport's right here, just you and him, just talking about real estate. Imagine if
No.
you started arguing with him. He'd just be like, pull out a Glock. You'd have two dudes behind him, both named Tony, just standing there waiting for you to make a mistake.
Tony number 1, Tony number 2. But his last name is Middle Eastern, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't
man.
that Middle Eastern?
Sounds like it.
That's our take, guys. Thanks for watching the show. More reaction videos to come. Thanks, everybody.